This is part 2 of my recap on ZM100 Bucket List of the Dead. In the previous episode, we met a young man named Akira, who spent 3 years working for a company that exploited him. He dreads going to work feeling completely exhausted and underappreciated. But after a mysterious outbreak that leads to the zombie apocalypse, Akira is finally happy. For the first time in years, he quits his job pushing his boss out of a window and he confesses to his crush not wanting to have any regrets. He thinks he could die at any time, so he decides to make a list of the 100 things he wants to do before he becomes a zombie. Akira has a dream about his chief harassing him about his work, and he wakes up in a panic. But as he calms down, he remembers he doesn't have to work anymore. He stretches out on his balcony, seeing it as a beautiful day, and he prepares to enjoy his vacation. He starts by cleaning up his apartment, throwing his rubbish off the side of the building, and he gets everything looking for steam, even polishing his toilets. He feels refreshed to finally have time to clean after 3 years, and he cracks open a beer, finally able to enjoy himself. He can't believe how good it feels to skip work and just have a beer in the morning. Thinking this must be what heaven feels like, we see a news report of the chaos around the city, and there are fires everywhere. We see the reporters struggling, and we learn that the internet and all telecommunications are down. There has also been no word from the government, and the broadcast gets cut abruptly. Akira wonders what will happen in the future, but he decides to just relax and drink for the day. He wants to embrace his inner degenerate, but he becomes shocked when he realizes he is all out of beer. He thinks it's the worst timing because he just wanted to slack off, but now he'll have to go to the store. He looks out to the street seeing all the zombies, and he thinks it's going to be a huge pain. But he thinks about the sweet taste of his beer, and decides he has no choice but to go out. Meanwhile, we meet another couple. As they are trapped in their apartment, they realize no one is coming to save them, so they wonder what they're going to do. The man thinks they can hold out, but the woman thinks it's the end of the world. The man wishes someone could help them, and he suddenly sees Akira climbing down the drain. The man is shocked seeing him, and the woman rushes out. She also panics seeing him, and Akira explains that the stairwell in his building was filled with zombies. So he was just getting past. The man invites him in, saying their apartment is still safe, but Akira declines, saying he is headed out. He introduces himself to them, saying he lives in the building next door, and the man introduces himself as Casca. Akira mentions he's headed to the store and he wonders if they want anything. Casca asks him to bring back some food, and the woman asks for toilet paper. The zombies chase after him as he rides his bike, and he thinks they have grown in number. Even though he is on a bike, he thinks he'll be in trouble if he gets surrounded, but decides he would rather be eaten than go without another beer. He makes it over to the 7-Eleven, but there is another bike with a camera on it, and it seems he is being watched. Akira sings to himself, excited to get another beer, but he suddenly sees there isn't another person in the store. He is surprised to see a cute girl, and he gets embarrassed thinking she must have heard him singing. He doesn't want to scare her like he did to Sokka, so he decides to play it cool, trying to make some small talk. He mentions how he ran out of beer, but the girl just walks away. She hears a horn going off in the distance, and Akira catches up to her. He calls their meeting a coincidence, and he asks to exchange contact info. The girl checks her phone looking at what's going on with her camera, and she takes note of what Akira is by. She thinks he is risking his life for something non-essential, saying he doesn't know how to assess risk, so she doesn't want to team up with him, thinking he would only lower her chances of survival at that moment. There are zombies that get into the store, and Akira rushes to protect her, but the girl suddenly pulls him back as a truck suddenly comes crashing through. Akira is stunned looking at the girl, but she gets up first, leading him on the floor. Akira tries to thank her, but he finds her riding off while his bike was destroyed. He thinks about what she said about analyzing risk, but he finds her pretty cool, wondering if he will see her again. A zombie starts to approach him, and he wonders how he's going to get back without his bike. However, he gets lucky and ends up finding a scooter as he rides back. He remembers how the outbreak happened during rush hour, so there are plenty of bikes and scooters just lying around with the keys still in them. He wonders if he can get an even better bike, and he ends up swapping to a motorbike. He drives into a car door, causing him to go flying in the air, but he lands it, and he is eventually able to make it back to his apartment as he climbs up the drain pipe. He thinks it was a productive day having stocked up on his beer and having met a cute girl. He makes it to Aka's level, telling them to join him for a drink, but he sees that they are gone and there is only a scene of carnage at night. Akira drinks by himself thinking he could die at any time. He thinks life is too short to avoid taking risks, and he starts writing in his notebook the things he wanted to do as a kid. He crosses off the things he's done so far, like confessing to a girl, drinking beer all day, and riding a motorbike. He keeps on writing his list, but he only manages to write 30 things. He thinks about what he really wants to do, and he is happy to be able to add 3 more things. He wants to see his parents, spend time with his best friend, and meet the woman of his dreams. We go back to the start of the day where we see how the girl Akira met started her day. She watches the same broadcast, but after her morning run, we see she takes a number of different supplements. She tries to make contact with her office and lab, but she has no luck, so things appear to be quite dire. But she makes a list of what she needs to survive. She observes the zombies with her binoculars, finding that there are 2 types, either walking or running. She takes note of the number of each type, and she thinks that being able to identify the type of zombie that you encounter will dramatically increase the odds of survival against it. She decides she needs to get supplies before the number of zombies increase, and she even plans to see which neighborhood is the safest. She arrives at the 7-Eleven setting up her camera, and she starts gathering the things that she needs. She is tempted by a sweet, but she stops herself thinking it's not essential. See Akira approaching surprise. There is another survivor. As he tries to talk to her, she can see that he has zombies following him, so she thinks she needs to get out as soon as possible. She doesn't think much of him, wondering how someone like him even managed to survive. She hears the car horn in the distance, thinking it will attract even more zombie. She tries to plan her escape, but she realizes the truck has gone out of control. As the truck ends up crashing through, she thinks it's the perfect time for her to escape. She makes it back to her apartment, glad that she managed to get all of her supplies. She analyzes the zombies that she encountered along the way, but she sees Akira again, wondering how he could be so happy about a beer when they are in such a state of emergency. She thinks back to the sweet that she left behind, wishing that she could have grabbed it. But we see she also has a list, but it's a list of 100 things to do so she doesn't become a zombie. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.